All right, welcome back. Snack Master Ben here. We're gonna make risotto. A lot of people are real afraid to make risotto. They think it takes a lot of work, but it really doesn't. And it really starts with this arborio rice. Kind of looks like a little pasta, but you know what? It's really, really good. So what we're just gonna get started with here is just a bit of prep work. So first of all, when you're doing your risotto, you want to have your liquid all nice and hot and ready to go. So what I'm doing here is just one container of chicken stock. You can make your own if you want, but Snack Master's a little too lazy, so we'll just buy the carton. And then what we're going to make here is the risotto we're going to do is Milanese risotto. What's cool about this is we had an Italian exchange student living with us, and for a little while, and then we went back to Italy. Met his parents, and I got to learn how to make this Milanese risotto from his grandmother. She didn't speak a lick of English, but kind of knew what was going on. So in this, so some chicken stock, we've got our arborio rice, and then saffron. And this is kind of cool. This saffron here comes in little tiny pods. I'm going to show you one here. Saffron can be pretty expensive, probably because some sons of bitches with little tiny fingers have to pick all this stuff, and anyways, it's the pollen out of a flower, a saffron flower. So anyways, so we take a couple pinches of those. We'll throw them in into our stock, give a little stir, and then we're gonna get that going. This has to be simmering pretty good before you start your risotto, so you want to make sure that that's nice and hot. So we'll get that all going, and what you'll find is as the saffron kind of gets into the chicken stock, it's going to turn a real bright orange. You can even smell it now. So the smell of saffron is so awesome. So that's one of the things you need to prep before you get going. The other thing is, what you want to do is you take your rice and you get it going. Get yourself a nice little mesh strainer. We're going to do about a cup. It's just for Mrs. Snack Master and I. So we're going to do about a cup. You want to give this a good rinse before you get started and get some of the starch off the outside before you get going. So that's the first steps, and then we'll get going. Risotto, nom nom. Now risotto, you can actually have risotto just straight up as a meal, depending on what you put in it. But what we're gonna have with it is grainy mustard and maple syrup salmon. So we'll just grab a little bowl out of here, and pretty simple. We're just gonna add some grainy mustard to the bowl, and a couple 3 tablespoons or so, enough to cover these 3 pieces. And we're gonna add in some real Canadian maple syrup. Glug 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 glug, about that much. Give this a little stir, incorporate everything together. Kind of hard to do this one-handed, but can be done. We've already preheated the oven to 350, and everything's about timing. So this salmon's going to take about 20 minutes. That's about how long that risotto takes. So that's pretty simple. Pretty simple, and then we're just going to spoon this lovely, delicious goodness over top of the salmon, and then get these bad boys in the oven. And you get kind of a bit of a salty, sweet, and it goes really good with the richness of the salmon. And so we're going to give this a nice bake, and this great accompaniment. It goes well with the risotto because we're going to get the creamy goodness of the risotto and the Parmesan, and this here grainy mustard maple syrup salmon. So we'll drop these in the oven, and gravy the risotto. As I said, you can add pretty much anything you want in risotto. I've made it with some cauliflower. I've made it with asparagus. Throw bacon in. I did one with just shrimp. I've done lobster risotto. You can pretty much do it anything you want. Basics are, though, you gotta have good chicken stock to get you going. Nice pan. Doesn't have to be deep. Depends on how much risotto you're doing. Gotta get some good olive oil in there. For this particular recipe, well, actually all risotto, some diced onion. You're gonna start off with that, and then that good arborio rice I'd mentioned earlier, which is right now sitting in the sink because it's just been rinsed. For this particular risotto, Mrs. Snack Master's got a bit of a cold, so I added a couple cloves of garlic to it. What ails you, baby? So we're gonna add that first. So these are the staples, though: onion, arborio rice, chicken stock, and your Parmesan cheese to cream it up after. Those are the basics. Wine, some people like wine in, some people don't. Hell yeah, I add the wine. Glug, 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 and it goes. So, but these are the staples. You can just about do anything you want. All right, we're good to go. It's a little bit of a tip. Always heat your pan first before you put anything into it. Heating up something from cold slowly and slowly, it breaks it down, changes the structure a little bit, and you don't want to waste all your good ingredients. So the pan should probably getting pretty hot by now. So we'll just add our olive oil. Get that in there. Because the idea first here is what we're going to do is we're going to get a couple of the basic ingredients going. We're going to get our onions going. We've got about a cup of onions, maybe a cup and a half. And then those will start to get a little bit translucent. The other thing that I added here, of course, was the garlic. So we'll get that stuff in there. We'll get that going. A little hard to do this one-handed. So we're going to get that just going translucent. I'm on about a medium heat. You don't have to fret over it too much. Oh, you can smell the garlic already. We'll just let those onions go just a little bit more. And just a minute or two just to get them going. And we're going to add, for this recipe, I've got some diced prosciutto. So we'll just get that in there. And prosciutto is exceptionally salty, so you don't have to really add any salt. You want to really wait to the very end, do a couple tastes, and make a decision on the salt, because there is a lot of salt in prosciutto. We're going to add our rice, and that goes. And all we're kind of doing with the rice right now, before we add any liquid to it, we're just giving it a little bit of a toast. We're just kind of waking it up, saying, all right, that's right, we're going to make risotto out of you. So we're just kind of giving it a toast, getting that pan nice and hot, getting hotter, and oh, you can just smell it kind of getting a little toasty. Just keep giving it a little bit of a stir, and then we're going to start to add our liquid to it. You're looking at about 20 minutes, and I know they say you got to stand over it constantly, stirring. You don't really need to. You want to just keep an eye on it, and after you practice a little bit, it doesn't take long to kind of figure out at what state your risotto's at. So that pan's good and hot. Onions are a little translucent. We got a nice toast going on the arborio rice. And then what we'll do is we'll add some wine. So a nice white wine, not too sweet. This is a Sauvignon Blanc. Really doesn't matter. It's white wine. And probably a cup or so, or half a cup. We're going to let that reduce. Oh, that smells so good already. I know you want some, but... Oh yeah, so we get that reducing just a little bit more. Let that goodness get in the rice. Oh, if you can smell it, already fantastic. The other thing, we've got our stock back here, the chicken stock that we added the saffron to. You can see it kind of got a real orange color. So I just keep a little mini dipper here close, and then I turn the heat down to a simmer and move that pan nice and close, your stock pan. And then you're not going to add all the liquid at once, so I'm just going to take a scoop, get that in there. Oh, look at the change in the color there. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? So we're going to get that going in. We're just going to get that to a simmer. So the pan's a little hot right now. You can see how it's boiling a little bit too much around the outside. I'm just going to turn it down just a hair. And then now we're just going to kind of babysit it a little bit here. And you can kind of see as it goes, and some of the liquid starts to get incorporated in the rice. We'll check back in here in a little bit. The question always is when to add more liquid. So you can see here it's bubbling around the edges. I gave it a couple more stirs, but you can see, now watch. You see how that's filling in still? So we still got a bit of liquid in there. But what you don't want to do is let it dry out and then become a solid mass, because then if you did, well, you basically screwed up your risotto. So you just keep adding some liquid, a couple scoops at a time. And that's why you wanted the liquid hot, because you don't want to every single time cool off your pan and then reheat the pan every time you add a cool liquid to it. So that's why you keep your stock pan on a simmer, nice and close to your risotto. And next time we check in, I'll show you a couple times to give it a taste and see where we're at. 15 minutes in, you can see most of the liquid is in the risotto. There's maybe, I don't know, quarter left. And you might not use it all, that's okay. We can see the risotto's going really good. This is about the time you want to have a taste. So, little tip, I just do this. If you got guests over and you're going to taste, always go get a spoon out of the door so they can see you go get it. That way they know you're not just redipping and redipping and kind of grouse. So just have a taste. And what we're looking for is still a little al dente, not crunchy, but not soft. You don't want it to get all gooey because that's not what we're looking for. So let's have a taste. You know what? We're close on this. We're close. In fact, I might not put anything else in. Any more liquid in for that matter. Let's give it another couple stirs. And I think this is just about where we want to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the heat down to low. And then we're just going to let this sit. And what I kind of try to do is if my my other items aren't ready, like the salmon, then what I do is turn the heat off even. And you can do that, just turn the heat off. And then at this point we can add, grind in some Parmesan and get it kind of ready. And then it's still gonna thicken up and it's still gonna absorb some of the juice. So what you'll do is, just before you're ready to serve, you can just grab just maybe another little scoop just to get it exact consistency you want. But this here is pretty near ready to go. Yum, yum. All right, we're just about ready to plate up. And you see I grated some Parmesan, probably about a quarter cup, third of a cup, somewhere in there. And you can see, look here, watch. So you see the risotto? It's pretty good consistency. So I'm just gonna stir in the cheese. And I may add some liquid, I might not. You can see you get the creaminess from the starches of the arborio rice added to the Parmesan. And you know what, we're just about ready to plate up. I wouldn't do much more to this. See, you look at the consistency here, you want it to kind of stand up on its own. And just about perfect. Some people might like it a little bit more wet. Some people may be a little more thick, but I kind of like it right where it's at. We're ready to plate. Yeah, there you have it. Making risotto ain't that hard. Let's have a taste. Oh, Melanie's risotto. Perfect consistency, a little chunky or crunchy. You can taste the saffron in there. Perfect. Nom nom.